Hello everyone, welcome to Capital Crunch. Do you know Google, Amazon, Microsoft and Meta are spending billions trying to escape Nvidia? In this video, you will discover the surprisingly clever technology Nvidia is using to keep these companies trapped inside its ecosystem. Big Tech is designing its own processors, building competing softwares and searching for ways to stop paying what industry insiders have called Nvidia Tax. But even if these escape plans succeed, Nvidia may still make money from them. How is that possible? Because Nvidia is no longer trying to control only the chip, it is building an ecosystem that controls the entire AI data center. But before we reveal Nvidia's counterattack, we first need to understand why the richest technology companies in history have decided that depending on Nvidia is simply too expensive and too dangerous. To understand why companies want alternatives, look at Nvidia's numbers. According to Nvidia's latest quarterly results, the company generated $81.6 billion in revenue in 3 months. That is an 85% increase compared with the previous year. The biggest reason? AI data centers. Nvidia reported that its data center business generated $75.2 billion. That means more than 92% of Nvidia's revenue now come from AI infrastructure, and Nvidia's gross margin was around 75%. In simple words, for every $100 Nvidia earns from selling products, about $75 remains after paying the direct cost of making these products. That gives Nvidia incredible power. Most hardware companies fight for small margins. Nvidia has created a business where customers are willing to pay premium prices because they need its technology. But this success created a new problem. The more money Nvidia makes, the more its biggest customers ask, why are we paying Nvidia billions every year? Why don't we build our own chips? There are 4 main reasons companies want to reduce their Nvidia dependence. Reason 1: cost. AI models require thousands of chips. The biggest AI systems use tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of processors. At that scale, saving even 10% can mean billions of dollars. That is why companies want cheaper alternatives. Reason 2: supply. AI demand is exploding. Companies do not want their future limited by how many chips another company can produce. Reason 3 is control. Google understands its search systems. Meta understands its recommendation algorithms. Amazon understands its cloud customers. A custom chip can be designed exactly for their own needs. Reason 4: survival. AI could become the foundation of search, advertising, cloud computing and software. No company wants its future controlled by a supplier it cannot replace. But there is an important point. These companies do not need to beat Nvidia everywhere. They only need chips that are cheaper and faster for their own specific tasks. Google was one of the first companies to challenge Nvidia. It started building its own AI chips years ago. These chips are called tensor processing units or TPUs. According to Google, its latest generation includes TPU 8T for training AI models, TPU 8i for running AI models. Google says a TPU 8T superpod can connect 9600 chips and provide up to 2 petabytes of shared high-speed memory. Google also claims the new system delivers 3 times more performance than its previous generation. But Google's goal is not only to use TPUs internally, it wants other companies to use them too. That is why Google has been working to make TPUs easier to use with PyTorch, one of the most popular AI software frameworks. Because the biggest challenge is not only building a powerful chip, the challenge is convincing developers to leave Nvidia's ecosystem. Google has also partnered with Broadcom to develop future AI chips through 2031. This shows Google is not testing a small experiment, it is building a long-term Nvidia competitor. If companies start renting Google TPUs instead of Nvidia's GPUs, Google could move from being Nvidia's customer to becoming one of its biggest rivals. Amazon is taking a different approach. Through AWS, Amazon has created its own AI chips called Trainium. The goal is simple: make AI cheaper to run, because the future AI race may not only be about creating the smartest model, it may be about running that model millions of times at the lowest possible cost. Amazon CEO Andy Jassy has said, according to Amazon's own statement, that Trainium 2 can deliver around 30% better price performance compared with similar GPUs. That is Amazon's own comparison, not an independent industry benchmark. But Amazon is already building a serious chip business. The company says its custom silicon business, including Trainium, Graviton CPUs and Nitro technology, has passed a $20 billion annual revenue run rate. Amazon also says it has received more than $225 billion in Trainium commitment. The interesting part, Amazon originally built these chips to reduce dependence on Nvidia. Now it wants other companies to buy them too. The customer is slowly becoming the competitor. As Andy Jassy told investors, we are not investing on a hunch. Microsoft has also entered the chips race. It created its own AI accelerator called Maya 200. The chip is designed mainly for AI interference, the process of running AI models and and generating answers. But Microsoft knows the real Nvidia advantage is not only hardware, it is software. The software is called CUDA. CUDA allows developers to easily build AI applications using Nvidia GPUs. According to Nvidia, more than 7.5 million developers use CUDA and Nvidia software tools. This creates a huge advantage. Think of Nvidia like a city with millions of roads, buildings and businesses already built around it. A competitor can build a cheaper car, but convincing everyone to move to a new city is much harder. Microsoft's challenge is not just making a chip, it is making developers comfortable leaving Nvidia, and that is much harder than announcing a new processor. Meta is also preparing its own Nvidia alternative. The company is developing a custom AI chip called Iris. According to reports, Meta plans to work with Broadcom and manufacture the chips through TSMC. Meta's AI spending shows how serious this is. The company expects to spend up to $145 billion on AI infrastructure in 2026. It also wants to expand its computing capacity to around 14 gigawatts by 2027. But Meta is not trying to replace Nvidia overnight. Instead, it wants a backup option. Some workloads like recommendation and advertising systems can run on custom chips, but the most advanced AI models may still need Nvidia. This is the strategy most companies are following, not leaving Nvidia completely, just depending on it less. This is where the future fight may happen. Today, much of the AI race is about training. Training means creating the AI models. It requires huge computing power. That is where Nvidia is extremely strong. But after training comes interference. Interference is when the AI actually answers questions, creates images, recommends videos or write codes, and interference could happen billions of times every day. Writers described interference as a market that is much larger but also more contested. Why does this matter? Because custom chips are perfect for repeated tasks. A company may not need the most powerful chip, it may need the cheapest chip that can perform the same job millions of times. That is where Google, Amazon, Microsoft and Meta see an opportunity. They do not need to destroy Nvidia, they only need to take away the workload where price matters the most. Despite all these efforts, Nvidia is still growing. Why? Because Nvidia sells much more than a GPU. It sells AI chips, networking systems, memory technology, server design, software, developer tools. A company can create its own chip, but it still needs to connect thousands of chips together. It still needs software. It still needs a complete AI system. That is Nvidia's biggest advantage. The company has built an entire ecosystem. Nvidia is also improving its position in interference. Its Dynamo software helps companies manage large AI systems. Nvidia claims Dynamo can improve Blackwell interference performance by up to 7 times in certain situations. That is Nvidia's own claim, not an independent test, but it shows Nvidia understands exactly how competitors are attacking. Nvidia's most interesting response is called NVLink Fusion. NVLink is Nvidia's technology for connecting AI processors at extremely high speed. With NVLink Fusion, companies can connect their own custom chips with Nvidia's infrastructure. Even Amazon plans to use Nvidia's NVLink Fusion technology. At first, this sounds strange. Why would Nvidia help companies build competing chips? Because Nvidia has changed the game. It is no longer saying you must buy our chip. It is saying even if you build your own chip, you may still need a technology. It is like building the roads instead of only selling cars. Companies can create their own engines, but they may still drive on Nvidia's roads. That is Nvidia's biggest strategy, becoming the foundation underneath the entire AI industry. So are Google, Amazon, Microsoft and Meta escaping Nvidia? Not completely. They are building protection. They want lower cost, more control, more negotiating power, less dependence on one supplier. The future probably will not be a world without Nvidia. Instead, it will be a mixed system. Google TPUs will handle some workloads. Amazon Trainium will power some AWS customers. Microsoft and Meta will move certain tasks onto their own chip, but Nvidia will likely remain important for the most advanced AI systems. The biggest threat to Nvidia is not losing all customers. It is losing the fastest growing and most price sensitive workloads. But Nvidia has a powerful advantage. Its customers are trying to escape its chips. Nvidia is trying to make sure they cannot escape its ecosystem. And that is why this battle is so fascinating. The world's biggest technology companies are spending billions trying to replace Nvidia, while still spending billions more because they cannot fully live without it. Nvidia's biggest threat is coming from its own customers. But those customers may discover that leaving Nvidia is much harder than they expected. We will bring more such videos for you, so please subscribe the channel and keep watching. Thank you.